Have you ever found yourself tapping your foot to a song from the past and thought, ah, this takes me back? There's something magical about the music we grew up with, whether it was on the radio, your favorite vinyl record, or even the jukebox at the local diner. Those were the days, weren't they? The days when we knew every lyric, when music had a certain warmth and the act of playing a song was almost a ritual. Fast forward to today and things have changed dramatically. But in many ways, those memories live on. So here we are in the age of Spotify, streaming, and digital playlists, far from the days when we needed a good old-fashioned record player to hear our favorite tunes. But what happened between then and now? How did music, something so personal, so nostalgic, become part of our fingertips? Let's take a stroll down memory lane and compare the way we listened to music in the 60s to how we do it today. Now, let me start by saying this. If you're a fan of vinyl records, you're in great company. I'm sure you remember the excitement of browsing through record stores, feeling the weight of an album, and reading the liner notes as if they held the meaning of life. And of course, there was the sound, the crackle of the needle as it hit the vinyl, the smooth, rich tones that only vinyl could deliver. Music wasn't just something you listened to, it was an experience. That thick, warm sound from the spinning record, the way it enveloped you, was unlike anything else. But as we moved into the 70s and 80s, technology advanced. We started trading in our vinyl collections for cassette tapes and CDs, and by the time we hit the 90s, MP3 players and digital downloads started to take hold. I'm sure you remember the joy and occasional frustration of trying to burn your favorite albums onto CDs. No more flipping the vinyl over or waiting for the record to finish. But even as convenient as these new formats were, they couldn't quite replicate the experience of flipping through your record collection. The excitement of discovering a new album cover or gathering around a stereo system for an impromptu dance party. Fast forward to today and we find ourselves in the age of streaming. Whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Pandora, music has never been more accessible. In fact, you can now listen to millions of songs at the touch of a button. You don't even need to leave your couch to discover your new favorite track. Need a playlist for a road trip? One click and it's ready. Want to hear a song from your youth? Just type it in. It's all at your fingertips. But is all this convenience really a blessing? I'll admit it, I've caught myself scrolling through my phone trying to decide what I feel like listening to, only to realize I've spent more time scrolling than actually enjoying the music. Back in the day, you knew exactly what album you were going to put on, and that was that. There was something special about that. You weren't bombarded with endless options. You just listened. You didn't have a playlist to curate. The music took the lead. And let's not even get started on the joy of discovering music together. I remember sitting around with friends, sharing our latest finds, passing records around, and talking about which song was the best. It felt like music was something we all owned, something we shared together. But now it's a whole different story. With Spotify's algorithm, we have personalized playlists based on our listening habits. The idea of radio has changed completely. It's more like having your own private DJ that knows you better than you know yourself. For instance, have you ever noticed how Spotify's Discover Weekly knows exactly what you're in the mood for, even if you didn't know it yourself? It's like having a personal assistant who just gets your taste. I know, some of you might be thinking, but what about the albums, the artwork, the physical copies? Doesn't it lose something when it's all digital? And that's a valid point. There's a certain nostalgia attached to holding an album, reading the lyrics, and seeing the artwork up close. In a world where everything's streamed, it's easy to forget how important those small details were. I mean, the 60s and 70s were the golden era of album covers, weren't they? Every piece was a work of art, almost as iconic as the music itself. And let's not forget the record stores. The trips to the local store, hunting for that rare album, chatting with the store clerk about the newest releases. It was more than just music, it was a culture. But with digital music now, the artwork often gets lost or reduced to a tiny thumbnail on your screen. And sure, it's convenient, but something about the tactile experience of flipping through records, holding a CD, or carefully putting the needle on the vinyl seems to have been replaced by ease. But hey, the trade-off is the ability to carry your entire music collection around with you in your pocket wherever you go. So while we might miss the tangible aspects of music, the freedom and convenience of having thousands of songs at our disposal is hard to ignore. Now that we've taken a trip down memory lane with vinyl records, cassettes, and the rise of streaming, it's clear that music has come a long way. But as we continue this journey, let's talk about how the way we discover new music has shifted. From radio to online playlists, it's not just the way we listen that's changed, it's how we find our favorite tunes too. So stick around, because in the next part we'll dive deeper into how music discovery has evolved in the age of Spotify and digital platforms. Wasn't it something when discovering new music used to be a bit like finding buried treasure? Back in the day, we didn't have the luxury of typing a song title into a search bar. Nope. We relied on the radio, word of mouth, or a friend who lent us their latest record or mixtape. Sometimes we'd walk into a store, hear something playing over the speakers, and ask the clerk, "Who is this?" And just like that, a new favorite would be born. There was an element of surprise, of delight, of community. But now we've entered an entirely new world of music discovery. Instead of waiting for the DJ to play our favorite song, we've got algorithms doing the work. And I have to admit, it's pretty impressive. Platforms like Spotify use your listening habits to suggest music that matches your taste. It's like having a little musical genie saying, "Hey, I think you'll like this." And more often than not, they're right. Still, I can't help but chuckle a little when I think about how different it all is. Back then, we'd listen to a full album from start to finish. It was a journey. The slow build, the high notes, the quiet ballads at the end. Today, people often jump from one track to another, never quite giving the music the time to sink in. And let's be honest, how many of us miss flipping the record or rewinding the tape with a pencil because the cassette got chewed up? Those little annoyances were all part of the charm. And remember when we'd gather with friends and someone would pull out a mixtape they made just for the occasion? Whether it was a party, a road trip, or just a quiet evening, the playlist was everything. It said something about who you were. Now we've got playlists with names like Chill Vibes and Throwback Hits, but I wonder if they carry the same personal touch. Don't get me wrong, today's tech is a marvel. The ability to listen to just about any song ever recorded instantly is incredible. But sometimes it feels like we're so spoiled for choice that it's hard to appreciate any one thing. That's why I still think there's something to be said for intentionally choosing music. Whether it's revisiting your old favorites or discovering a new artist who reminds you of those classic sounds. What I love about streaming is how it's opened up the world. Back in the 60s, most of us only had access to whatever was played on the local radio stations. Now you can listen to artists from every corner of the globe, jazz from Japan, soul from Nigeria, blues from Brazil. It's all just a click away. For those of us who still have that curiosity burning inside, it's a real treat. And guess what? You don't have to be tech savvy to enjoy it. If you're someone who's hesitant about using Spotify or Apple Music, trust me, it's easier than you think. You can start with something simple like a Golden Oldies playlist or type in your favorite artist and let the platform do the rest. Before you know it, you'll be knee-deep in songs you haven't heard in years, and maybe even a few new favorites too. It's a wonderful way to reconnect with your memories and even make some new ones. Let's also talk about concerts for a second. There was nothing quite like seeing your favorite artist live, was there? The energy, the lights, the feeling of the crowd singing along, it was electric. These days we can stream entire concerts online, often from the comfort of our own homes. And while it might not be exactly the same, it sure beats missing out altogether, especially when those knees aren't as spry as they used to be. Plus, there's a silver lining to all this digital progress. For many of us, our hearing isn't quite what it once was, right? Well, with today's tech, you can adjust the volume just right, use subtitles for lyrics, and even connect your music to a hearing aid or Bluetooth speaker. No more fiddling with crackly speakers or hoping the record doesn't skip. It's about enjoying the music in a way that suits you right here, right now. Now, here's something fun I've seen more and more lately: families bonding over music across generations. Grandkids introducing their grandparents to their favorite artists, and vice versa. Imagine telling your teenage grandson about the first time you heard Elvis, or better yet, playing it for him. And maybe he shows you something new that surprises you. Music has always been a bridge between people, and now it's even easier to share across time and space. So yes, while a lot has changed since the days of twisting the dial on the radio or lovingly placing the needle on a record, the heart of music remains the same. It connects us, moves us, and brings joy. Whether you're listening to the classics or discovering something fresh, it's all about the feeling it gives you. That toe tap, that head bob, that memory of dancing in the living room with your sweetheart. And just think, we've gone from records that could hold just a handful of songs to entire libraries in our pockets. What a journey it's been! But there's still one more part of this story left to tell. Let's talk about how music has become more personal than ever, and how, no matter your age, you can still make it a part of your daily joy. Shall we keep going? Now let's talk about something truly special, how music today has become more personal, more accessible, and more tailored to you than ever before. Isn't that something? Gone are the days when we had to wait for a favorite song to come on the radio, hoping it wouldn't get interrupted by a DJ's chatter or an ad for toothpaste. Today, with just a tap, we can build our own musical universe filled with the songs that speak to our soul. And here's the beautiful part. Music no longer belongs only to the young. Nope. In fact, more and more seniors are rediscovering their love for music. Some even creating playlists for their morning coffee routines, their afternoon walks, or those quiet evenings when the house feels just a little too still. Music becomes the companion, the spark, the memory stirrer. It doesn't just fill the silence, it colors it. I know some folks feel like today's music just isn't what it used to be. And sure, some of it may feel a little noisy or lacking the poetry we once loved, but you'd be surprised. Dig deep enough, and there are young artists today who sound like they've been time traveling through the vinyl aisles of the 60s. Soul, jazz, folk, it's all making a comeback. And the best part, it's mixed in with fresh stories and sounds that we never had access to before. It's like the past and present are finally dancing together. Plus, let's not forget how music helps keep our minds sharp and our spirits light. Science even says so. Listening to familiar songs from your youth can stimulate memory, reduce stress, and even lift your mood. That song that played the first time you danced cheek to cheek, it's more than just a tune, it's a time machine. It takes you back to the scent of that room, the feel of your partner's hand, the way your heart skipped a beat, all from a melody. And don't even get me started on singing along, badly or not. Whether you're alone in the kitchen belting out the Supremes or humming along to Sinatra while making dinner, it's all medicine for the soul. There's no such thing as too old for music. In fact, the older we get, the more music means. It becomes a journal, a friend, a warm embrace on the days we need it most. So maybe you're wondering, where do I begin? Well, the beauty of today's world is that you don't need to be a tech wizard. Ask a grandchild, a neighbor, or even search YouTube or Google for how to use Spotify or best music for seniors. You'll find guides that walk you through step by step. You can start small. Create a playlist with just 5 of your favorite songs. Songs that remind you who you are, where you've been, and what made your heart dance. Or better yet, create themed playlists. Sunday mornings with Billie Holiday. Songs I fell in love to. Road trip anthems from my first car. You're the DJ now and the world is listening. Even if it's just you and a hot cup of tea, that music is still magic. And what if you want to explore new sounds? Try typing in a feeling. Yes, really. Happy, peaceful, uplifting. These platforms will do the rest. It's like having a little musical butler bringing you just what your heart needs without judgment or fuss. But here's something even more powerful. Sharing your music. Yep, share a song with someone you love, send a playlist to a friend, or even better, make a legacy playlist. A collection of songs that tell your story. Imagine leaving behind not just photos or letters, but the soundtrack of your life. What a gift. Music today is no longer tied to physical space. You don't need a giant stereo or shelves full of tapes. You don't even need to leave your favorite chair. You just need a device, a phone, a tablet, a speaker, and the willingness to press play. And in that one motion, you unlock decades of joy. So here's the takeaway, my friend. Music has changed, yes, but what it does for us, that hasn't changed one bit. It still heals, comforts, inspires, and reminds us of who we are. It still connects us to memories, to loved ones, to ourselves. Whether you're a proud vinyl collector or you've just discovered how to stream a song on your tablet, it's your music journey. There's no wrong way to enjoy it. What matters is that you do. Let it in. Let it move you. Let it remind you that life, no matter how many years pass, still has rhythm, melody, and soul. And if this video brought back a few good memories, maybe even sparked a little smile, why not share your favorite song from the past in the comments? I'd love to hear what track takes you back. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Bubbling Beyond 60s for more uplifting stories, tips, and laughs just for us. Here's to dancing like no one's watching, to singing off-key without shame, and to living out our golden years in full volume. Until next time, keep the music playing and keep bubbling beyond your 60s.